Greetings, dear lighted ones. This is Joanna from Universal Love and Light Wisdom Offerings. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we wanted to create an Ascension and Awakening offering of higher and wider perspective and understanding for the cycles of Ascension and Awakening, the natural cycles that we all move through in the evolutionary process that we're all moving within, these beautiful and wonderful and really exciting times of co-creation. We're all feeling it. So it's really profound, monumental times that we're moving within, and to see it from a wider, expansive, playful perspective, which is what the universe is truly excited in watching us move through, and to see it from that perspective that is playful, that is joyful, that is really exciting into the opportunities and the gateways and the portals that we all have to co-create anew with sacredness and joy and play. And as we move about our everyday lives, we're transitioning from what we thought was allowing us to feel fulfilled and aligned with who we truly are. Because in the process of awakening and ascension, we're moving into new expanded versions of who we are as the vast soul self. The soul is the multidimensional essence of who we are from all timelines, from all realms, that we're here to reunify into our awakened state of allness. Ascension and awakening allows us to see ourselves in a bigger, grander, wider way as the universal omnipresent essence that we are. All timelines, all realms, all dimensions, all threads now. So in this spiral of experience, time is not linear, it's a spiral of experience. The soul and the all that we are continually, as we're moving in this spiral of experience that we call time, we're opening through our higher self and our soul's divine timing with the teams and the beings that we have allowed and contracted with these soul agreements, these soul blueprints, to call in those soul fragments from any other timeline that we've agreed to call in for healing and reunifying to the wider self that we are now. To know that we are more than this lifetime, we are more than this body and this physical aspect. We are the encapsulation of all that we have been in all timelines and all realms. Those fragments and particles of lifetimes that were experienced through duality, through polarity, are being brought back into the fold to reunify as the whole one self, reunifying back to source, back to the allness, back to the oneness. So in any lifetime where there was not oneness, where there was not wholeness, we are calling those soul fragments in, those experiences in, that are held within our Akash, that are held within the psyche template, to be healed. In the soul blueprint, in this lifetime's offering, our higher self and our soul and the teams that we all play with, the soul teams that we all play with, align certain people, align certain groups, align certain experiences to come forward through our daily movement with all those that we've contracted with, our collective, the planet, all that is, to cue us, to give us synchronicities and symbolisms so that we see and we allow the unfolding of this natural, innate evolutionary process to awaken us to the grander perspective of who we are and our ability to love ourselves whole, the ability to expand who we are in our most compassionate, loving, expansive self. So in all moments, we're given new opportunities to see ourselves, to experience ourselves, to express ourselves as a whole vast being of incredible multidimensionality. We do so by the offerings that our soul, our higher self, and our individual self, the human self, is calling into experience. Your soul knows and your higher self knows when it's time to wake up. It will call in those synchronicities. You will have the dreams. You will have the synchronistic meetings. You will have the ability to view YouTube channels or videos or teachings or articles or blogs or magazines or books that you buy. Those inspirations, those usherings, those momentary happenstances are all coming together at a beautiful cosmic play and a dance of elegance, so that you allow yourself to know that you're a vast being of love, and all that you can garner to love and make whole through forgiveness, through compassion, through the understanding of self, the whole self, the soul self, then allowing you to expand into a greater aspect of light. Because love is light. There's great intelligence, there's great expansiveness in love. Love is light. The absence of light is what we have experienced as duality, polarity, and darkness. There must be that expansive catalytic push and pull for us to know our light, for what doesn't work, what doesn't feel right, what doesn't serve us anymore. That catalytic pull to say, okay, I'm awakening into something that really doesn't feel right for me anymore. I really want to move in a new direction. So then we create these momentary awakenings in however way we may, because everybody's path is different. Our soul blueprint, our soul's growth, expansiveness, everybody is on a unique path, and we each have divine timing, and it's done within that soul agreement, that soul's blueprint that we come with. It can be accelerated or slowed down divinely through your own free will and choice. For each choice takes us on a different path of that expansive exploration of who we are as source. And this is just what's so beautiful and what is so mind-boggling, that each choice allows us to explore something new about who we are, how we express who we are, and how we experience who we are. And why, in the awakened state, we're calling in those soul fragments, and we can really feel it. And this is what my experience has been over the last couple of years, is truly because of the empathic gifts and the intuitive gifts that I've come with, and my experiences, is that I'm able to feel into the subtle synchronicities or the subtle feelings. I'm a very feeling-oriented person. My body is heightened in a very expansive way, in that I can feel the merging of the soul fragments. I can feel those experiences in the timelines. And I've had to practice through mastery of not going into the stories, but just allowing the expression of that timeline to come forward to be healed. And it does take practice and mastery not to be overwhelmed emotionally and psychologically by the stories, because that's not the intent. And that's why we're not given full access to all timelines and all stories, because it would be too much for our physical human brains to understand and to manage. It would be too overwhelming, and it would cause psychotic breaks. And this is why this process is a very elegant and delicate, masterful journey. And your soul will give you exactly what you're ready for. It's never something that you'll be out of control with. But it's also why we offer daily self-care, grounding yourself and anchoring yourself in who you are, your path, your desires, your experiences, so that you're not overwhelmed and thrown by those experiences that bring up those emotional, experiential feelings, or oftentimes traumatic energies that perhaps have nothing to do with this lifetime. They may have slight mirrored variations in a smaller form, but there will be in everyone's path those experiences that will call for your mastery, and your teams and your soul know exactly when to call those fragments in, because it does require that mastery not to get entangled in those Akashic stories or those timeline stories, but to deal with the emotion that is at the core of that healing. Most often than not, depending on what level you're at and what you've come here to express, experience, and explore for the greater good, you may not have access to those subtlety experiences. Because this is a part of my path and as a part of my offering to assist others, I have the ability to see it and experience and explore it in an expansive way. And it's taken me on quite a traversing journey in managing and honoring the lifetimes through always a compassionate and benevolent, heartfelt, sovereign perspective. And I say those with great energy and with great movement, because there's stories held within the words we're speaking, and you will get it in different levels of your awareness and your readiness. And this is why we say mastery. This is why we say benevolent mastery, in that honoring honoring all paths, all stories, and focusing on the feeling of the emotion that's being released. These are the phases of ascension and awakening. You'll awaken to a grander perspective of who you are. In that awakening, you'll ask for and you'll integrate new behaviors that feel in alignment with that greater soul experience. You'll want to meditate more. You'll connect with your higher self, your spirit, the nature, wildlife. You'll have more intimacy and engagement with others around you. So those are all those urgings and the soul urgings to return to the higher spiritual path of oneness. And in doing so, that next phase is the awakening to greater information. You'll be gifted information from your higher self and your soul. You'll be offered the awakening of a DNA fragment or a DNA capsule that allows you to open into greater multidimensional omnipresent information that you've carried from other lifetimes to garner and anchor into this new now reality. You might suddenly have an awakening that you have wisdoms about medicine, shamanic, sacred toning, working with the planet, whatever it might be. These are all part of the expansiveness integration, and these informations and wisdoms will be offered and gifted and turned on, if you will, in divine timing, your soul and your higher self. And why that daily self-care and entanglement with your soul will allow you to feel into your own unique cycles. And so in these cycles, you'll be feeling into the fragments, not only of this lifetime, and why it's so important that we just let go of our understanding of the limitation of what we've believed ourselves to be, and know that you are a multi-dimensional, omnipresent essence. You are now entangling with the soul of all that you are. You are now offering in, and you're honoring in all of those soul essences and all of those soul energies that have been you in your experience in other realms and other dimensions and other timelines, to bring into a oneness energy, to bring into that oneness of who you are as source. Your soul is saying at the grander level, I'm ready to know myself as one. I'm ready to know myself as the whole of source. And that will bring in those soul fragments that are ready to be integrated into your wholeness. And in that soul fragment healing and reunifying, it will come with it the lessons and the themes that were left in that limitation. That soul fragment might have been a subjugation in any way that's very subtle, and it will have a small mirroring or a large mirroring, depending on what you're going through right now in your physical life, to what you're going through right now in this physical body. Because there's always those mirrorings that we're here to heal, so that we see this now reality, this human earthly reality, in new heightened ways. Because essentially all of us here as a collective are here to heal the collective subjugation, the collective limitation, the collective fear and separation. But they're also linked with many other lifetimes. This is why it's all now, it's all here. So you could be healing right now a lifetime from the early 1800s, that perhaps you were enslaved in a certain manner, in a certain way. But it might be playing out in a small, minor way to you right now in perhaps a job that you have in which you feel overworked or underappreciated. And those small, subtle subjugations will be mirrored, and you're also healing that lifetime that's ready to be brought back into the fold. And why oftentimes, when we're going through the alignments, the portal alignments, the gateways, and all of the beautiful seasonal experiences that we have with the planetary, galactic, universal, multi-present alignments that were offered, and the beautiful ascension energies that were offered, they will be magnified and amplified because our bodies are opening up to greater heights of light, which means that we will be feeling, seeing, interpreting, receiving information in heightened capacity ways. It's all normal. And this is why, again, we go back to creating that daily self-care so that one does not feel or can get swept away in the overwhelm, because this is all new for all of us. But to understand it at an expansive level of what really it is we're moving through. It's a profound mind-boggling undertaking that we're all moving through, to integrate those soul fragments and aspects of ourselves through an infinite number of lifetimes, from a third dimensional encapsulation to a fifth dimensional vibration of our allness. And that's a lot of lifetimes that we are partaking upon creating unification with. But in that, there's always phases and cycles. And it becomes even more interesting and even more mind-boggling when you're in a family experience or partners, and why we're seeing so many move through transitions. Various people in their own soul blueprints and their own unique experiences and desires to explore Source, Creator, the all that is. Each and every one of us has a different path and a unique path, and it's meant to be that way. It always has been. But what we're now awakening to is that the vibrations and our paths and our soul yearnings and our soul usherings are allowing us to awaken to those inspirations that are drawing us and calling us forward into different directions than those that we've been around or those that we've encircled ourselves around. So we're all moving through such great transitions and cycles of change. To understand that we're all reunifying various soul fragments at various dimensional awareness, various dimensional stories, various dimensional traumas and dramas, and to allow that to be okay, allow it to be accepted, but also to allow one's own unique path to be true to one's own unique path. And to see it as the elegant, delicate dance of spirit that is. Because as you're following your own unique soul's call, your heart's yearning, your heart's desire, your own soul's truth, your own soul's voice, speaking your truth, speaking all that you are, in following your spirit, following your essence of soul, then you'll also be offering those expanded vibrations for others to also open in their unique, divine, authentic truth. And that authentic truth may take those family circles and those friendship circles and those partnership circles into different directions. And it's meant to be that way. It's an elegant design of things falling away and coming together, falling away and coming together. And it's meant to be that way. And we will see this even more expanded and accelerated in 2020. But those that are moving through these awakening and ascensions can feel the yearning in their center. Their soul is the center of who we are. That's saying it's time to make a move. It's time to move forward. It's time. It's time. And we're connecting with one another. We're collaborating with one another so that we can create new vibrational timelines. We can create new vibrational potentials for us to explore vibrationally as a collective. Those that are those vibrations that are sent from the soul, from the heart, will attract and magnetize other vibrations of those like frequencies. And that's when the soul families and the soul tribes and the soul communities will be coming together to create in alignment with their soul's collaborations, the experiences and the expressions that they've come here to explore, experience, and express as a collective now, as circles and as tribes. So it's important to know that all of these are natural awakening processes through which we each individually have the potential to anchor peace, to anchor joy, to anchor our own creative gifts and talents, so that we expand the evolutionary playing field, which is what our souls really want to. Our souls ache for evolution. Our souls ache for that expansiveness. But to do so, because we've come from such limiting dimensional timelines, from third to fifth, we've got a lot to heal and reunify and make whole. And so we wanted to just bring forward the idea of circles, cycles, and phases. And so in doing that, we allow ourselves to also understand and be okay with what's falling away. And that's the one that we all have most trouble with, is how to fall away, how to allow the falling away. Because I've in all of my teachings, I've explained it as the threads of reality. The threads of reality are vibrational experiences. The thread of reality that you create within the center of who you are is what is now creating the new timelines. And so it's important, and what I've discovered in the last couple of years is really being conscious and aware and awake to what vibration are you threading, and how quickly can you release and heal. Because as the frequency of time, the experience of what we call time, it's not really time, but it's the words that we have. As we experience that time, it accelerates because our cells, our bodies, our minds, our intelligence, all that we are is accelerating. And so allowing the old paradigms to slip away in the most efficient manner that is healing to the soul. And we say this with pause because each and every person is at a unique phase of awareness, awakening, and soul development. And so there may be timeline fragments, there may be soul fragments that will require greater healing and greater time. We say time, but that's not what we mean. But it's just the word we're using because it's what we have. Greater attention, greater care for that healing to occur. Because that one traumatic soul fragment requires many different lessons to be integrated. And this is why that daily self-care, the integration and allowing and just honoring what the body is moving through, physical, mental, emotional, and etheric, to allow for all of these beautiful harmonizations to occur. And it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process or system, if you will. It can just, it's really quite simple, that my teams have always said, it's just allowance. Allow your heart and your soul and all that you are to move through the emotional changes and shifts. For those that will be moving into teaching and healing roles, you will have a much more unique experience, because you'll be drawing on the various gifts and the intuitiveness that you have to read the energies, to read what's happening, to read the integration process, so that you can offer it in counseling and in sharing and in helping others to understand what they're moving through. And this is what I've experienced in my own path the last couple of years, is to be really attuned to the subtleties of what's happening when I'm calling in a soul fragment to be reunified as in love. And it's not always easy. It's not always comfortable. And it can be quite emotionally draining and traumatic, depending on how much you've attuned yourself or awakened yourself to feel and to connect with. And it doesn't have to be. I'm only saying that because I've had the experiences here so that I can offer it forward as musings and teachings and honorings of the multidimensional allness that we are, and to truly honor it. And there are experiences that the moving through the healings and letting go in the most honoring and sacred way is the most efficient way to recenter to love. And so what my teams have offered is that building mastery is how quickly we can realign to love, release, let go, forgive, and quickly align to love, release, let go, forgive, quickly align to love. And that the soul fragments may not always allow you that, because it comes with many traumas and dramas that you're here to heal. It's depending on your life now, because it's relating to how smooth or difficult or easy or fast your life was here in this timeline. I'm only speaking from my perspective and my experience, because I'm highly intuitive. I'm an empath. I have heightened multidimensional physical and multidimensional energies that I'm able to sense and feel into and to see and to remember. And so for me, it's been quite an amazing and brilliant journey, so that I can bring these energies and offerings forward for greater expansiveness and greater teachings, and our books of study become bigger and wider, if you will, and allow it to be all encompassed within the psyche, how the ego is arranged and how the multidimensional bodies are arranged, and how it is so key and important for us to balance and center into who we are, to truly defining who we are. That's sovereignty. Who is it within your Christic consciousness, your Christhood? And we say that transcends all dogma and all definition. Your Christhood is your most expansive dimensional, multidimensional source essence self, that's able to integrate the higher frequencies of light, the higher frequencies of love, and heal what needs to be healed and reunify in oneness. So it's the higher capacity light fragments that we're integrating. We're being offered and delivered soul codes, star codes, love codes, light codes, and our multidimensional bodies are calling it in when we're ready. We're ready when we're moving through those emotional, mental, etheric, and energetic and physical manifestations that are ready to be healed. So if our bodies are imbalanced through what we've eaten, not taking care, and I'm saying this because I've experienced it. I haven't honored my body. Early in my days of awakening, my drug of choice to hide from what I was experiencing was alcohol. And it was my way to try and fit into a world that I didn't necessarily understand, because I was so heightened and I was experiencing things that were not what others were experiencing, and I was feeling reality at a much deeper, richer level, and it was confusing and painful because I could see and feel the other timelines, what was going on, and I could feel the energies of those around me. And so, but I know now that those were the gifts and the skills to begin offering the benevolent portal of all that we are, within all that we are. It's an entanglement of allness. The more all you become aware of, the more all you become awake to, the more all that you become nurturing of, the more all that you become in love with, you're entangling with a greater all field. It's consciousness with consciousness, God with God, source with source, spirit with spirit. But these phases and these cycles absolutely move through rhythms and songs and dances, and that sound, that's the sound of source, that's the sound of love. So to get to know your own unique cycle, to get to understand that all others that you're entangled with, however close or wide your circle is, will also show you the cycles that others are moving to. And you can attune yourself to these subtleties. You can attune yourself to the subtleties that you are moving through. There are various tools, I call it the Christic toolbox, that I've written about in my books. We each come with Christic tools. Our souls and our bodies and our lives have been designed, and we all come with unique tools that allow us to move through exactly what we're meant to move through in the most beautiful, smooth, dynamic, elegant way. It's not always going to be easy. To become an enlightened being requires that we allow ourselves the honesty and the truth and the authenticity and the courage to face what we don't often want to face, because we've come from such arenas of limitation and subjugation and fear. So to release all of those bondage, we have to allow ourselves to face what is our biggest and greatest fear. And as I wrote about in our recent Facebook post, is that when you move into the allness and the beauty of all that you are as a moving fluid source being, the biggest fears that one would face is also equal to the exact opposite of that balanced scale, is the grandest perspective of your soul self that offers all with it the beauty and the gifts and the love and the expansiveness of that equal and opposite, because that's what we're here to heal. So we can look at it in that way, that, wow, if I've created these fears, if I've created these limitations, if I've created these patterns of belief and behaving, then I absolutely have it within me to create the opposite. And feeling into it, because it's a vibrational song, one can feel into it and direct their energies and experiences and imaginations and all of those visualization, the affirmations, the feeling into the multidimensional bodies, rewiring the belief patterns, rewiring the thought patterns, rewiring what you eat and what you feed yourself and the environment that you keep. All of those things are ways that you thread yourself into new potentialities. You're threading yourself into new vibrational patterns by eating higher vibrational food. You thread yourself into higher vibrational experiences by allowing yourself higher affirmations of love and compassion and forgiveness. Allowing yourself to see compassion for all others because they're mirrors to what you've been moving through and have moved through. Or maybe offering your gifts and skills to assist and help others because you understand the allness of it. You understand that that's a particle of you, the particle of God. All are God, all are source, all are spirit, wanting to be brought back into the fold through their own unique path and exploration. And as you open to your allness, you begin to feel into the stories that you are healing for yourself and why it's such a beautiful path of rediscovery, self-discovery, self-expansiveness, because you're allowing that story of you to be heard, to be felt, to be known, and to be loved whole. And oftentimes, as I said earlier, is that because I've come with the potentiality to feel into those stories, and I have trained myself not to go into the timeline story of the Akash, I can if I wanted to, but it oftentimes creates more trauma because I don't need to know the timeline story of its unfolding and the totality of it. I'm here to heal the energy that's coming through me in the moment. And so when you gain those intuitive hints and nudges, and it might be through a dream, and why we've often said the self-care in the morning and at night, and to keep the dream journals so that you're allowing yourself to see the intricacies within the dream, the energies within the dreams that allow you to tune into what you're healing. what you're here to acknowledge. It's not only the healing. And we want to create this idea of healing to be very playful and joyful, because you're rediscovering and exploring who you are. And it can be shifting your perspective to not have it be, this process that creates trauma, but can be a process that allows you to explore your expansiveness as the joyful child of Source that you are. And you're really healing that timeline. And so they've often showed me, I've often showed myself that as Akashic healing, let's say, there was a timeline where I was healing a younger version of me that was healing a subjugation, deep subjugation that was very profound and traumatic. I was giving myself certain vibrations of healing that were not felt in this lifetime, but only small mirrored effects of subjugation, like being locked away, if you will. But that timeline was very deep and very dark and very suppressive and very, very dense in its subjugation. Very, very dense and very, very traumatic. I didn't necessarily have to feel the energies of the entire story, but I gifted myself with just enough so that I could link it back to the experiences in this lifetime to heal this lifetime as well as that lifetime, by releasing the fear, by releasing the limitation, by releasing the understanding that having compassion for that self of me and giving that self of me that voice to hear its fears, to honor its fears, to face that fear. This is what I experienced in that timeline, and I felt it in very viscerally and in a surreal way that I didn't have to know. It's like it's like being gifted a book. You understand what the theme of that book is by the title of it. And that's that we've talked about that psyche experience that's held in the Akash, that is that dark, dense experience that you're here to heal, that imprint that you're here to heal. That imprint doesn't know and connect it to any other lifetime. It wants to be healed in its own right. It wants that voice to be heard. It wants that story to be heard and loved. So that fear of being locked away, that is what we're here to heal, that imprint. Not the whole story, because the whole story will be healed the moment that you face that fear, because it's the fear, it's the limitation, it's what's made separation. And so this is why it's important that as we all awaken to these grander, beautiful stories of all that we are and all that we're harmonizing and all that we're healing, it will be mirrored and can be mirrored in small ways of this lifetime, depending on, again, what you're here to heal and what we're all here to help with. But as a collective, we're all healing subjugation in some form or another. The mirrorings can be greater or smaller. It's all, everybody's path is different and unique. But those fragments that come forward, it's important for those self-care and those tuning into and honoring and creating that essence of peace and tranquility and serenity, so that those healings can be honored, harmonized into the greater light of who you are. And that's why self-care and balance and centeredness and grounding are so, so important. Because one cannot move through, such experiences with great ease and mastery and confidence and clarity if we're not allowing ourselves the profundity of the cycles and honoring what they mean, honoring who they are, because we're allowing ourselves to explore all that we are in a highly advanced, highly accelerated spiritual way. And that is the gift that many, I often have to be reminding myself, this is a gift. And it is challenging at times to peel away all the layers of limitation and fear that we've created for ourselves and all the timelines that it's experienced in. But it's a great gift of rediscovery of our sovereignty. It's a beautiful gift of who we are as love. It's a beautiful gift of who we are as masters. It's a beautiful gift of who we are as family. It's a beautiful gift of who we are as source. And so that, above all, is what we wanted to offer today, is the importance of the ascension and awakening cycles, to understand your own unique cycle and why it is what it is, why we go through what we go through. You come with unique gifts. You come with unique package of stories in the all that you are. And your soul is with you, can be communicated to. You ask it to come forth in your meditations. You ask your higher self to live through you. You ask Source and Creator, the Holy Mother, Father, however you define your spirit as the holy creator of all that is, to live through you in your highest essence of identity. Because in all moments of our rediscovery, we're shifting and changing. And there will be those moments of solitary, the hermit, the archetypes that we've learned with, and why we have the tarot and the oracles, and why we have the Greek mythology, and why we have all the stories that we do, because they allow us the archetypal energies that we understand our cycles of evolution. We're now opening into a whole new paradigm of evolution, of a fifth dimensional energy. And it's allowing us to truly come forward in openness and in honesty and say, I'm not ready to, I'm not okay with hiding and pretending that there's nothing going on when there's truly a lot going on, and I want to explore it in an open and allowing way, and have those honest conversations with those that you're encircled with. Because then that allows them the opportunity, but they don't have to, but allows them the opportunity to also follow their soul's plan and their soul's guidance and their higher self guidance. And the circles that we are within, our families, friendships, lovers, partners, work environments, all of those are the circles that we're all healing through our own unique path. So the more open and honest and authentic we are in our own unique path, exploring who we are as spirit, exploring who we are as multidimensional beings, and expressing it and experiencing it fully as we can. Because if we're suppressing it and not pretending it's not there, it'll just come back around until we honor it, explore it in the fullness that it wants to be unified into the whole liberated, expressive essence of source and love that we are. But in those circles and the engagements and the groups and the energies that we're also co-creating with, in such dynamic transition and such dynamic acceleration and change, to offer the allowance and the acceptance of all others' paths and what they're moving through. Because what I've also discovered as well, and I think my next book is going to be about children, the family, and ascension, and to offer these beautiful experiences and why I've experienced them in such the most profound, intricate, and subtle ways of feeling energy, knowing energy, transmuting energy, the alchemy of energy, the transmutation of energy to create new reality experiences. But that those in your family circle, and you'll know that there's no accident that you, the children you have, and the friends that you have, and all those that you have been divinely synchronized to the energy that you've been at. As your energy vibration changes, as your explorations, your experiences, and your desires change, you're vibrating at different energies, and you're going to call in different experiences, because that's the soul's desire to explore, to evolve. So these circles and the circles of who we encapsulate ourselves around and who we've been around and our families and all that will change and shift. But what I found out is that me moving through my ascension, and because I've been an author and a teacher and a leader in that way, to offer explorations of universal vastness, of offer experiences of human vastness, the gifts that I've come with, so that I could share and offer expanded opportunities of oneness, that if I go through a DNA activation and I'm integrating something new and I'm healing a new Akash and I'm allowing myself to create sacred behavior, those energies and vibrations immediately begin to flow in the infinity symbol out to those in my circle. And they will, along with their soul's path, move through their concurrent experiences of self-discovery, self-exploration, and self-expression. Very shortly afterwards, their DNAs will be activated and they will be integrating and calling in new things, but don't have to. It's always free will. The soul will always offer, the higher self will always offer synchronicities and experiences and dreams so that they awaken to their allness. But it's always, again, free will for those that are in their conscious state, their human physical density state, to choose whether to explore or not. And awakening and ascension moves forward if we're continually in that exploration, experience, and expression vibration. If we're not, and we refuse to see the synchronicities, we refuse to awaken, we refuse to explore or express, then that's when energy becomes stagnant. And that's when you continue to move on the merry-go-round, or the carousel that just never stops experiencing the same vibration. because it does require that we explore, it does require that we experience, and it does require that we express that new version of who we've become. But don't have to. It's always free will. But in the circles that we keep, the family and friends and lovers and partners and work, that's why these are all transitioning really quickly. Because the souls and the higher selves and the physical being is really coming to choice time in their path of comfortability, comfort level. There will be those that will be comfortable in not exploring, and there will be those comfortable really to explore their vastness. And so those paths of unique choice are done at the soul and the higher self and the physical level, because we're multidimensional beings. The soul and the higher self will always feed us opportunities to advance and evolve and experience and explore and express. It's the physical being and what patterns that we have become entrained and ingrained with that determine how flexible and how fluid we are and how open we are to exploring those opportunities. But Source, Creator, God, Spirit will never stop offering. Your higher self will never stop offering, because it's evolution. And so we can allow ourselves to know that there will always be opportunity for growth. There will always be opportunity for evolution for each and every one of us. But what I've experienced is that moving through and seeing the subtleties and how others are affected by how I offer my light and how I open in my light and how I explore and express and offer all that I am as light, it affects everybody and everything, the ground, the trees, the flowers outside, everything, the animals, the pets. You'll feel into these subtle shifts of openness and awakening and fluid, because consciousness of the all is constantly offering you the vibration that you're moving to. You're projecting it, you're allowing it, you're talking it, you're being it, you're living it. You're that sacred vibration that is you. You're constantly offering into new templates of experience. And we offer classes about sound and tone and light language and how we go about creating those timelines and those conscious templates. And for those that desire the mastery classes on understanding sound and tone and understanding how we really create conscious realities, template realities, vibrational realities. But back to the circles that we wanted to talk about is that oftentimes, and we do this unknowingly because we're all moving through ascension and awakening, as a human collective, and we're all coming aware of these higher integral, the higher light intelligence of sovereignty and understanding what free will and the universal laws really mean for us and how they live through us. And to honor that path of self-discipline, that path of devotion of spirit, and the path of integrity, energetic integrity as you awaken to these new skills, how to use that integrity of intuitiveness, how to use the integrity of who you are becoming as a multidimensional being of light, to offer it forward through benevolent service, through the greater good. And these are mastered, practiced skills. And I'll give you an example. Moving through a family collective or friendship collective or a partner, when you have a partner or a lover or a husband or wife, whatever it might be, and you're becoming aware of the acknowledgement that you're both at varying understandings, desires, and needs of spirit exploration and desire to live life in a new way. And so it then becomes an honest conversation of, okay, where are we at? What do we both need and desire? And where are we both excited to move to? And it's all dependent. Every single path will be unique and different. But to live authentically within one's own truth, but to allow it to be also that unique path of all others, so that they can choose to move on the path that you're willing to explore or not. But to offer it so that whatever it is that you're experiencing and co-creating for yourself, to do it with authentic, heartfelt, soul-centered, heart-centered vibrations, and allowing all others to know that they have the same empowerment and inspiration and tools to go within and seek their own counsel, to seek their own truth, to seek their own path. And this is what I've learned over the years, to really become aware of my capacity to feel into energies and to understand and hear and know things at a different level than others. And we all have different levels of exploration. Why we're here, because of how we're here to assist the collective. And that's why I'm saying this, because I'm saying this for that reason. To use those gifts and skills and honoring to the alignment of the benevolence. So to use the telepathy, to use the psychic gifts, to use the intuitive gifts, the multidimensional body gifts, and all that we are doing, so that sovereignty, free will, and the universal laws are honored for each individual, for each life. And this is why we can go back to self-care. To truly honor, your perspective and your path and your excitement is your unique path and excitement. And then to detach and allow all others their unique path and level of exploration in their own unique divine timing. And really to pull away from, because in my experience as being a mother, is to guide with the most expansive information that I had. But for those around me, they're exploring their path, and they have to find their way and go within and seek their own guidance, within reason, of course, so that they learn that they have the skills and the gifts and the abilities to expand their consciousness and evolve at their soul's divine pace. Because what's your pace is not someone else's pace. What your ability to perceive into energy is not theirs. And to align with divine sovereign free will, evolution becomes evolution because we've taken the time, we've taken the practice, we've taken the divine journey to go within, to commune with spirit, to commune with our unique soul's higher path. And it's up to each and every one of us to do that. It's not our responsibility to guide anyone through any one door. It's up to us to offer the vibration and their free will to step, their free will to seek within, their free will to work out their Akash healings, their soul healings. Their soul's timing is unique to each of them. And this is a very mastered experience that we're all moving through, because each and every one of us will become aware of, those that are awakened and aware, will become aware of that integrity, that moral compass that one must be centered within, to say that you have the guidance as much as I do. So go within and if you're excited, go within, seek your answers, seek your path, seek your genius, seek your spirit, seek your essence of exploration, because your path of evolution will add to the color of the all. You're a puzzle piece that is expanding and exploring as you do so. And that's how evolution of the all expands. That's how the timelines expand. Because we're each exploring what we've come here to explore. We're each coming to experience and express what we've come to experience and express. And there will be a point, and those that will be teachers and healers and the way showers of others will awaken to that point in which they're very subtly aware that they back off and they allow the space to be the space, and for those to experience what they're here to experience, because that's the free will and that's the divine honor of benevolency. That's the divine honor of free will and sovereignty. And why, again, it goes right back into the infinity of healing those timelines in which that wasn't done, whether it be through those experiences that we held with fear or control or black magic, whatever it might have been. But those experiences will also be simultaneously fed into what you're here healing on your full Akash. Those timelines that we've all been and played the roles of every aspect that we're here healing. We've played the roles of the subjugators. We've played the roles of those being victimized. We've played all roles. So we will all come to that point within the family circle where we're here to empower. We're here to inspire. We're here to set the vibration through our own inner work and offer it forward as the vibration, as the example, and then allow the integrity of the gifts that we each have to be the integrity of the gifts that we each have. And it's for the reason of the missions that we've come to serve and explore and express and help heal humanity as a collective. But that each person has the same guidance of source. Each person has the same toolkit to create through affirmations, through new choices, new food, how we self-care our multidimensional bodies, our teams that we come with, our souls that we've come with. And it really, really is exciting, and that I've found over the years in all of my channelings, it's been very steadfast in the the sovereign exploration of creativity, of who we are as unique beings of Source, that's been so profoundly a part of the teachings that I've offered, because it's exactly what we're here as a collective to heal. And this is where our fifth dimensional co-creation will be so beautiful to explore the vastness and the infinite and the limitless experiences that we really, really have and are here to create. It's through that divine sovereign creativity. And we cannot, and if we're offering our way as the way, our guides' wisdoms as our guides' wisdoms for the all, then that's a limited perspective of co-creation. So you'll see these shifts coming more forward, that offering information and offering wisdom as just one's perspective, and I've said this from, really early on, is that these are my perspectives, these are my life experiences and the information that I've come with and the help I'm here to assist with. But to see the expansiveness, and only how I can describe and define, because they're words and they obviously don't tap into the expansiveness of what's truly going on at every level, because it's so mind-boggling that we don't have words. I can put into the words vibrationally what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling. But it can only be done from my unique, divine, heartfelt perspective, as what I've been offered as the dynamic potentials we each have as source creators, that we each are here to assist with Gaia and our reunification and our oneness and our healing and our exploration and our co-creation with Gaia and all consciousness that is nature and source, and to create the sacredness within it. How we each do it, that is the beautiful part. That is the co-creative beautiful blanket of creation that we said many, many years ago, the quilt of creation. The quilt of creation is our unique threads, our unique, how those threads, the textures that we are as light, the vibrational threads of sound and tone that we are. Each of us are a unique sound and a tone. As we open and love and honor ourselves as creative beings of light, that texture and that thread changes. We attract those particles of like vibrations as we change our texture, as we change our light quotient, the cells, the information, the intelligence that we are as light and love. That weaving together with all others, that their textures and threads and color and diversity and creativity are also weaving together blankets of evolutionary quilts of creation. And what's more expansive as the holographic energies that we like to thread in, this sewing of beautiful expansiveness, is that your textures within your family are opening into new colors of threads and weavings, that we are as a planet, that we are as a galaxy, that we are as a universe and an omniverse. Because there's new universes being born as we expand into this one third dimensional collective that's as far out into the space, if you will, where we're positioned as a planet from the center of our universe. So as we come together into the fold, it's a constant, remember, it's a constant infinity symbol, and it's a constant spiral of reunification. So as far out as we have gone into duality and separation, the closer we move into the center of our universe, the higher vibratory frequencies we are offered to create finer threads, finer gossamer weavings, finer colors and vibrations of sound. And so all that we are as a being, as a human form, will be, I just feel it like just like a shower. We're being washed. And I say washed in the way of vibratory colors, sounds, and threads of love. This changes our refinement of physicality. We become finer in density, less dense, lighter, colorful. The more light we take on, the more love we honor, the allness, the sacredness of all life. And so it's vibrational threads. We are vibrational threads of source. We are the particles, the atoms, the nucleus. And so to understand these holographic energies and why we move through what we move through, why we have the cycles that we do, and to honor them with grace, and to honor all others, to allow for the integrity of your authentic path to be the integrity of your authentic path, and to speak it with great truth, and to speak it with great excitement and great joy and great playfulness. Because really we're weaving new galaxies, we're weaving new planets, we're weaving new universal potentials, and it's really, really exciting. But for us not to feel obligated to stay within certain circles if it's not working, and it's not feeling as if you're constantly having to fight for your right for light, and that's how sometimes it feels when there's perhaps many around you that are continuing on the path that is their carousel of choice, and that's okay. But you have the right to also step outside and say, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready to lead my life in this new way. And unconditional love, perhaps this is where I'm moving. I'm really excited to move to, because we're changing paradigms of collective behavior, and the ingrained energies that kept us so limited and kept us in fear, kept us in subjugation. And one of the things that I'm here to present and here to muse is the higher expansive Christic potentiality of how we have defined, how we have given definition and boxed limitation to the roles of the family. How we're beginning to see the paradigms and the roles of parenting differently, how we're perceiving the roles of sexuality differently, we're perceiving the roles of our own creativity differently as a spirit, as a soul-infused being, as opposed to the limited definitions that we've held ourselves to out of traditional definitions and experiences, because that's all changing now. Higher dimensional exploration is higher dimensional exploration. That means to see and perceive every moment as new, to see and perceive and to live and expand sacredly as honoring all aspects of life valued. And what I've been shown recently and lately is to truly understand that your sovereign path of exploration, in honoring and serving it, allows for the greatest good of the all. And for those that have been brought up in highly dense and colored traditions that have been very limited or defined in certain ways of roles, very specific female roles, very specific male roles, specific religious roles, and all of those subjugations that we're all here to transcend. Make no mistake about it. And each and every one of us will feel these subtleties. We'll feel it within the home, whether it's changing the dynamics of the roles in the home because it's needed. It's the liberation to change our conversations and how we allow ourselves to be fully spirit, to create new ways of behaving, to live sacredly on the land, to live sacredly within ourselves and one another. All of these are the roles that we are each here to redefine and look at in higher dimensional ways, so that our roles aren't specific and held to those specific limitations. And just a few examples from being a mother. The roles that I grew up in as to, the female and dynamic feminine perspectives were very, very limited and held in very archaic energies of service. Service to all others and yourself last. And those are limiting frequencies that we are each transforming. Because in my awakening, and I've offered it in my book, one of the reasons why I sought counseling when I was going through the traumatic dreams that I was going to, my higher superconscious was showing me that there's things I need to go within and begin asking. I sought counseling because I wanted to be the best mother that I could be and give my children what perhaps I knew that I needed in my own childhood. And so I went to counseling. I went to the psychologist, and she recommended meditation, because if I was willing to have the strength to bring it through in my dreams, I was strong enough to deal with it in a way that was, it was a holistic. For me, my own personal choice was to create that holistic vibration for me to go within and understand what the dreams were telling me. And I had never meditated. I was very intimidated by meditation. Didn't think I was doing it right, or didn't understand. I knew that there was beautiful things that were happening throughout my whole life, but I was very new and green, what the whole idea of meditation was. And that's when I was exploring, and I was introduced to the angels of sound and tone in that very beautiful experience that I had that day. And that was the beginning of the path of inner seeking. That was the day of the beginning of the inner soul discovery of who I was, and placing all of those pieces of the puzzle of all of those experiences that had happened to me in my so-called past were all coming together in this now moment to thread together the separation of who I was as a physical being to my spirit self. And that's why awakening is so powerful, because you're bringing together those fragments of separative self that thought you were so distant from spirit, thought you were experiencing things that no others were and nobody's were talking about, but you're allowing yourself to thread together and you reunify that fragment of yourself that had been asleep for however many years, right? And that's why it's so powerful. That's why you begin to eat differently and speak differently and want to do things differently, because you're reunifying with your soul self, and your soul is vast, your soul is massive, your soul is amazing, and it will thread you those excitements and those inspirations. You can see my voice is starting to speed up because I'm in my soul self. My soul is coming through as the expression of me. And it's reunifying those fragments every time you go in to discover, well, what was the emotion and the fear at the bottom of that, and you're going in to heal it. And so that's why, honoring the cycles, honoring the phases, honoring the integrity of who you are. And each day it's going to change. You'll find yourself changing more quickly and more quickly and more quickly, integrating the healings more quickly and more quickly, to remind yourself not to get stuck within the story, even if it's from this lifetime, to release yourself from the story that keeps repeating itself. To release yourself from the story, you begin a new thread of vibration. To release the story of itself and say, I'm going to heal that pain, that voice that was not heard, that body part that was injured or hurt or subjugated, whatever it might have been, whatever story that's been coming forward to heal. Release the story itself. Pull out the energy, that emotion, whether it's fear, abandonment, betrayal, whatever that emotion is. Pull that emotion out and face it. Allow its voice. Allow its honor to be loved, to be forgiven, to be made whole. And then that's the efficiency to return to center and say, I love you wholly. I'm here to hear the voice. I know that you were afraid. All of those self-care, self-soothing energies, return yourself to center, and you allow yourself to expand out into greater light. And there will be some, soul fragments that will come in really quickly. And the more that you awaken to your skills and your vastness, you can feel in when a soul fragment has been integrated. There was an experience just this week. It was really quick and not as traumatic and as time and emotionally consuming as some of them have been for me. And I've had the experiences that I've had because my soul is so vast. I've had so many timeline experiences, and I'm here to heal so much. And I know I can. My team keeps reminding me that I have exactly what I need. The toolkit that I come with. We each have the exact gifts. The depth and the width of our gifts are exact to what we are here to heal. So just know that. The many times that I have been on the edge, I've taken myself to the edge many, 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 many times, didn't think that I could create that rebound of healing and love and recuperation and rejuvenation and remastery. I have. And I have it within me to the exact degree that I call upon it, to the exact degree that my will is here to heal it, that my will is here to expand within it, that I'm here to love myself. And they will be offered and they will be given, and you will have source and creator and the masters and the angels and your teams that assist you in your healings, your meditations, your nighttime dreaming when your body's away doing its higher consciousness work, your body is being worked on. Everything is being simultaneously honored in your evolutionary journey. It just is. So just know that you have an infinite number of beings and consciousness that are with you in all moments to allow you to surrender, to allow you to gift over to be transmuted, to allow you to come forward in that new discovery of that lesson to be learned. So you have it all, and there's cycles and there's processes that allow you to move through it. There will be some that will take we say time, but it will take greater care and attention for you to heal, because they might come with many, many, many lifetimes that those fragments are here to create persecution, abandonment, whatever. For me in this lifetime, I've listed many deep soul wounds that I'm here to heal. abandonment, betrayal, subjugation, in every level. And all of these, the soul fragments that you're here to heal and reunify can be done quite quickly, because you held a very high consciousness level at that lifetime, perhaps. And that subjugation, perhaps the lifetime was cut short for some reason or another, and that soul wasn't integrating that part of subjugation that you were there to heal. And so it can be done in this lifetime really quickly. So it all depends, again, but just know that the cycle and the phase that you move through, it's divinely timed, it's divinely inspired and designed, so that whatever you're healing, whatever you're moving through, is perfect in its timing. It's perfect. And I've noticed that it's perfect in the timing with me and my kids, what they're moving through. And sometimes for me, it's about sitting back and holding space as others move through their process, because I'm also here to learn about compassion and patience for others' paths. Those are huge energies in my timeline right now, is the compassion, patience factor, to honor, to continue to grow and expand in my own unique right, but to hold great space and compassion for others, and offer the teachings forward, and offer the energies forward, and offer whatever it is that I've gained through my own unique perspective, so that I'm honoring and I'm opening space and I'm holding and I'm showing the way for others to know that it's all normal. It will accelerate. Our healing and our reunifying and recentering to oneness, to love, will accelerate. So the efficiency of our mastery will become accelerated. And to understand the subtle energies and the waves of these cycles will be really exciting, because these cycles will speed up. What makes it an easy process and what makes it a challenging process is the equal amount that we allow. If we are resistant in any way, it will be a more challenging ride. And it becomes resisting when we've had the density and the trauma that is remembered in the Akasha in the body, because the body holds on to that energy and it doesn't know how to let it go. That's why the multidimensional healing, the multidimensional concepts and purview of how we heal our multidimensional bodies will change over time, and we will begin to infuse energy and spirit with medicine and physics in a much deeper and more profound way. Because the body is a multidimensional body. The brain is a multidimensional brain. We have energy fields, we have the Akash, we have our soul and our spirit and our higher self that are all involved in the healing process. The all that we are existing within is a part of the healing process. The environment that we create is a part of the healing process. There is no separation. And so to understand this and to begin talking about them as everyday language, and how we move about it, how we create that environment within our homes, is done through that self-care, that daily self-care that we allow for ourselves, allowing our unique perspective to come forward and live our unique path, opens the doorway for others to create that sanctuary and environment, so that your multidimensional bodies are allowing for its most expansive and efficient path of wholeness and oneness and joy and happiness. And you're showing the way for others. And that healing space that you care for yourself and you allow for yourself to move through these phases and these cycles with great honor, with great appreciation. And part of the cycles that we wanted to mention last week, we offered in many of our offerings about the vibration of honor and sacredness. It's so very key in mastery. And I say this because there's many levels of dimensional vibration, and that's why with so many people awakening, they're going to tune in with the vibrations that feel right for them in that time. But the path fluidity, how we move through it, whether it's resistance or open flow, allowance, there's many variations in between. It's never either one or the other. There's many very vibrational energies in between. That's why it's so mind-boggling. Is that allowing and honoring every single step of the way will allow you to move through your path with great grace and great ease. Because it's source, it's a vibration of the Christic virtue. It's not damning or swearing or, those are expressions of our emotions that we can move through, and there's no judgment on it. But what I've found is that the less resistance you are, the more allowing you are. The more allowing you are, you'll see and you'll feel the elegance of the story. You'll see and feel the appreciation and the garnering of gratitude. Those are spirit vibrations. Those are the Christic vibrations that align directly with the garnering of the planet, the oneness of the planet, appreciating and valuing our experiences that we've had as a collective and how we move into a greater wholeness of a higher vibratory planet. The physics of the planet, the energy of the planet, the consciousness grids of the planet that we create through higher vibrational experiences. How we explore, express, and experience ourselves as a collective. What do we choose and what do we want as a collective? And why that daily reflection time, honoring your cycles, choosing in every new moment, what is it that you want to experience? What vibration do you want to experience? That creates the consciousness template that we all walk on. And why it's so key to give yourself that time, gift it to yourself, bless yourself with it. Because you're going to be experiencing that vibration. We say in time, but it's just another now moment. So that spiral of time, project to yourself the vibration you want to experience, whether it's liberation, joyfulness, love, sacredness, creativity, whatever virtue, bliss, independence, whatever it might be, whatever major virtues you're here to experience and explore as a soul. Project it and know that those vibrations of intention, those vibrations of feeling into it and becoming that vibration, create that reality experience. To know the cycles and the phases that you're moving through the awakening and the awareness phase. Wow, I just moved through something pretty profound there. Let me reflect upon it. What did I learn? What were the lessons I pulled away? What was I not allowing my spirit and my soul to speak and to live and express? How may I experience something that's more in alignment with who I want to be? How can I offer this forward and know that I'm offering my authentic, free, liberated voice, and that others have their sovereignty and freedom as well, so that we can all move upon our authentic paths in the highest alignment of the highest good. Because as each and every one of us, as a reminder, are moving through our highest authentic path, we allow the highest of the greatest good to be adhered, and everything flows as the source plan that it will. There's higher plans that we have no idea and are mind-boggling to the human physicality. They're threaded within grander plans of the collective, threaded within grander plans of the planet, threaded within grander plans of the galaxy and other planets that are feeding off the exploration and expansiveness that we each are moving through. It's a constant spiral of exploration and threads of particles weaving out to the all that affect the all. It's profound. You can feel and see these subtleties in the circles that you come within, the work circles, your family circles, blessing the world with your exploration, your experience, your expression of who you are as light. You'll see those changes around you because you're creating the field as you go, as you walk, as you open, as you allow. The resistance will allow those energies to come back around until you allow yourself the unconditional trust, the unconditional love that you're always with Source. That we create those fears, we create those illusions, we create those patterns of misbelief or those falsities. They're not the truth. The truth is that we are eternal, infinite beings of light and love. We create through that light, through that love. Or we create through the density, the illusion, the separation, the systems of control, the systems of conformity, the systems of the roles we've kept, the systems of the obligation, whatever it is that we're here to heal, step out of. The roles that we've always lived don't have to be the roles that we've always lived. Otherwise, we're continuing the same experience that we've always been. Each and every one of us, generation after generation, are here to step up and step out in new, profound, expansive ways. That's how we change and alter the intelligence of who we are as a human species, as a multidimensional, universal, spiritual, physical matter species. Expanding to our all, offering the all in, calling the all in, knowing because we are. It's so exciting. And so just know that you affect the cycles that you are in. You're allowing the all that you are as that spiral comes in for your acknowledgement, that spiral comes in for your awareness. And you'll be offering yourself the mirrors in your everyday life to allow those healings to occur. Whether it's through a conversation with a barista, whether it's through a conversation with someone at a store, whatever it might be, anything that's coming up for you to call in for an expansive oneness configuration, a new harmonization of higher vibrational awareness, of higher vibrational love and oneness. Every moment we're harmonizing higher vibratory potentials. If you so desire, it's always free will, benevolent free will, universal law. And the energies will just continue to accelerate. And it's important that we open freely and we talk about the beautiful transitions that we are all each going through. We are each the holographic version of what is going on in the universe, how our families are shifting and changing. We're each fanning out to our own vibratory, perfect aligned experience that our souls are here to explore and have it be okay. That means that we're going to have to be okay with exploring the cycles of death, the cycles of grieving, the cycles of what we have called loss, because those are the words that we've used to define our experience. They will be shifting and changing very, very dramatically. So it's very important that we allow and open for these new, happy, joyful explorations of how can we define our reality? How can we define what we're going through so that we allow ourselves to understand that we're infinite beings of light, that we're infinite beings of experience and exploration. And we're going to allow ourselves to grieve and let go. But we're also opening up into new, benevolent experiences of new, because we know that we're infinite beings. We're eternal. We're always constantly intermeshing and weaving ourselves within new experiences. And those that you might appear, the faces and the experiences that we've placed on those we are familiar with, are coming in to play those roles for the exact time that they're here to play those roles. And the more that we resist that change, the more that we hang on to things that are no longer serving, they continue to become stagnant and pulled and drained. And it becomes that entropy occurs. So we're moving from entropy into accelerated expansiveness and to renewal and rejuvenation and rebirth and reunification. Allow to let go. Allow the energy to move. Allow the cycles and the processes to be the elegant, beautiful design that they are. Allow yourself to say goodbye to what's not working and move into what you desire to work. Allow yourself to have your own counsel, your own authority for what feels good for you, and all others for themselves as well. For the space to be held in honor and compassion of what we're all working through and we're moving through. The more that we honor, the more that we value these profoundly elegant times is what creates mastery. And that's why the most consistent thing that my intention is to come forward and offer is the profound sacredness and the elegance that is source. And that comes through the true valuing of the intricacies of energy, the intricacies of who we are as dynamic beings of love. And in doing so, we honor the transition time. We honor the cycles of awakening. We honor the cycles of integration, the cycles of release, the cycles of moving on, the cycles of death, the cycles of whatever it is that we're moving through in our evolutionary exploration. It's truly to be experienced. And as a master, when you get that really rich, benevolent, sacred reverence, is that honor. When you're honoring every step and appreciating the richness of each moment, that is when you value and you honor and appreciate, and your richness becomes ever more expansive and explosive as light into the all. And that's when the universe says, hey, there's something going on down there. It's a rich experience. Really honoring the depths through which we move through and allowing the emotions to live through us, not as a stagnancy, not as reviewing cycles of energy that doesn't work anymore. Honor the lesson. And when you honor the lesson, you're valuing it. Honor the decisions that were made, releasing and letting go and forgiving, because it's taught you. And it's that step outside that you really feel the depth in your richness. You feel the expansiveness of who you are with Source. You feel that shift in alchemic frequency that is heartfelt. You're now living as a soul-infused, heart-centered being. Because you can feel it at the center of your being. I'm going to value this lesson. I've chosen to continue the cycle in this particular experience, but I'm choosing to step out of it now. I value what it's taught me. I value who I am as a person and the clarity I've gained from it. Because Your higher self and your soul and spirit, source with you, sources within you, your guides and the ascended masters and all their teams that are supporting you and helping you along the way. The evolution occurs in that moment that you acknowledge what we've written in our books, that moment that you acknowledge the lesson learned, that you garner and claim your part in it. You garner and you claim your power to choose within it. That's your free will. I've chosen to take this path. It's taught me many lessons. I value and honor it. I allow myself to see myself from a higher and a more expanded version of love and integrity and value and appreciation of who I am as spirit and source. So I choose to do something new now. When you have those integrative experiences and those reflective experiences, that is when you shift your trajectory into something new. We can't change what we don't own. We can't change what we don't acknowledge. We have to have those truthful, exploratory conversations, that self-reflection time, that time where we say, that choice is not working for me anymore. I choose not to do this anymore. I'm calling judgment on this behavior. It does not work for me anymore. I'm choosing who I am in this moment. Done. That physically, alchemically, mentally, emotionally, everything is shifting. The particles in your reality are changing the moment you acknowledge it. That's awakening. Every moment is awakening, but you will feel the alchemic shift. Not going to do it anymore. Going to do this now. Boom. And you thread yourself new thought patterns. You thread yourselves new beginnings. And it does take practice, and it is challenging at times. Some things that we're here to change and shift and transcend will be quick and easy. It's always going to be a path of movement and flow. There will be more challenging times. There will be valleys and dips, and there will be moments where you're feeling highly accelerated, and you'll be highly advanced, and you're calling in greater light, and you feel as if you're highest, and then you're going to go through a profound time where you're healing a really deep soul wound, because it comes with 3 or 4 lifetimes, or 3 or 4 density particles that are held within the Akash or the body or the DNA that has to be healed. And we'll get into this in a whole other show, because there's things that are way expansive we don't have words for yet, but there are things even within the DNA that are being healed. As we think of the DNA as it being the DNA that we have when we're born and the DNA that we have when we die, and that's not true. Our DNA is constantly being upgraded, constantly being shifted and changed and accelerated. So there will be other offerings on that, and the bodies as well. It's a system of never-ending evolution, put it that way. I'm getting so excited. And those are hopefully the energies that I'll be tapping into as I move up into greater light, that I'm opening into those expansive awareness of remembrances, because they've shown me that I've had lifetimes of being a geneticist and understanding the DNA and the genetics in different ways on different timelines and different planets, so that we can fully understand who we are as multidimensional beings, and understanding that your choice, your purity of will, your purity of intent, your purity of loving who you are and exploring yourself as a child of joy and exploration, and your profundity to play, your profundity to get excited about, your profundity to sow something new. Those are the accelerations and the movements that truly put you on that trajectory of exploration and joy. Not spiraling in the same definitions or roles or stagnancy or obligations that are outdated and old, because it's just like, my teams have given me many visions and many visuals so that you can see how sometimes we box ourselves in with limitation by the words we use or by the experiences that we've had generation after generation, because they're collective energies that we're healing. And just as I say, we're walking out into mass crowds, it's a collective energy that you're walking into. So why knowing yourself, why choosing for yourself the dynamic you want to play, by intending what role you're playing, those allow you to feel who you are and not being thrown around and bashed around by the collective things we're here to heal. And why stepping outside of the situation, perceiving it and observing it as a neutral perspective, allows you those choices and those moments of self-sovereignty, of self-leadership, of self-care, self-mastery, self-directing. Those are all mastery frequencies that we will, each and every one of us, move through to test ourselves in. And that's why we're going through what we're going through. We're all learning mastery. But they've given me many ideas and visualizations, and one of them is the grocery store. And I often offer this to my kids when we're talking about energy, and they're saying, well, what do I do? And, what do I do when this happens? What do I do when that happens? And those around you. Offering, inspiring, and empowering is the role that we're always moving ourselves within in greater expansiveness. And I said, well, just pretend you're walking in a grocery store. And that grocery store has an infinite number of aisles, an infinite number of opportunities and options for you to choose. There are vibrational offerings in every article and particle. So you choose, you get to choose from what feels right for you. And if you're doing it from the heart center, if you're doing it from the center of the soul, it will allow you to feel instantaneously if that feels good or not. Listen to your body. Listen to what's happening within your body and your soul. So as you're moving with your grocery cart through the store, what vibrationally feels good for you? It might appear to physically, the ego will say, oh, that box of chocolates looks really good. Let's put that in. Or that the high condensed chemical foods, that might look good because it's patterned. That's just the way we've always shopped. We're just patterning. Those are the behaviors we always do. Well, then there's the salad aisle, then there's the fruit aisle, then there's those higher water content foods that are naturally birthed from Gaia. In a very, again, the way we get our natural food is all an infinite number and arenas of pathways of choice, because some foods are organic, some are not, some are vegan, some are not. So again, there's an infinite number of choice. But you can feel into those wide arrays of energetic choices, and we're just giving food as an example, the grocery store an example, as to how you're going to feel, experience, explore, and express yourself in that next moment, because it's all the flowing of energy. You could be walking into a bookstore. What energy do you want to read? What book do you want to pull off the shelf? It's no different than the information you have within you. What information do you want to call forward so that you can integrate it and use it and anchor it to serve your greater good, the greater good of all? What game do you want to play? What role do you want to experience and explore? That's a vibrational thread. That book is a vibrational offering. That food is a vibrational offering. That TV show is a vibrational offering. It's all vibration. It's all energy. You get to choose. As you move along the path of awakening and ascension, you will find that your needs and your desires will be more soulfully infused through your spiritual intelligence, because you've awakened to it. You've called it forward. My spiritual intelligence doesn't feel comfortable with watching violent movies anymore. I don't want to do that. It doesn't feel good for me. You choose to change that behavior. You choose to change that pattern. That trajectory has changed. So, and we're saying these as just options and ideas and understandings, because we all move through these choices of liberation. We move through these choices of serving the soul and the spirit, what feels good, what is good for us. And each path will be different. We have cycles and phases, the cycles and phases that each one that are moving within in your collective, whether it's a family collective, a community, the country, the collective, we're all moving at various frequencies of awakening. And they will require us to step up. They will require us to step out of what we've always done, or not, and create something new. And that's the new earth frequency and template we're all creating. As we do so, we are each healing our fears. We are each healing the limitations and the subjugations that we've all come with to heal as a collective. And again, why we go back to daily self-care, honoring your physical, mental, emotional, and etheric spiritual bodies, why you're moving through what you're moving through, and have it be okay, knowing that you have infinite gifts and the toolkit within you to do so, allowing all others their unique path, allowing for change, allowing for the flow of energy to continue to move you upon your path, and through allowance, through acceptance, and through acknowledgement of who you are as a divine soul, that you have surrender with source, trust with source, and autonomy with source to create your own unique path that is right for you, because you're a unique being of light that is here to move within your unique frequency of experience and exploration. And when we're not doing so, because I've experienced it, I'm speaking from experience in my own offering, when we're not allowing our expressiveness of Source Creator to live through us, the energy becomes stagnant. Illness and imbalance occur, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, or etheric imbalances. That's when your aura fields get clogged, your chakras, you just feel, it just becomes imbalanced, and then that's when chaos occurs. The chaos on a holographic level, what's happening within your body, cell by cell, atom by atom, the family, the house, the home, the community, is no different than what's happening at the omnipresent level. Humanity has been moving through eons of chaos because it's been through such separation and limitation and fear. We are now creating order and harmony. Love creates order and harmony. Fear creates chaos. And it's through our own creation of it. So you'll feel yourself moving through these cycles and transitions, because you'll feel yourself, when you look at the infinity symbol, when you cross into harmony and order, that's the center point. That chaos is when you're moving from, when I draw it out, I create the left as the negative and the right as the positive. And I'm just how I'm seeing it in my mind. It has no, definitive order. We're just saying the infinity symbol could be top to bottom, because the infinity in the lotus flower is all directions. And the center point is at your center of your being. So as you cross from that's not working for me anymore, I choose to do this, the center point is when you're beginning to create that new trajectory. Boom. You then create greater order and greater harmony, greater balance. And that's what we all strive for, is inner peace. That's why the inner peace is directly within the middle, because there's lots of movement as energy goes through that cycle process. I'm letting go, I'm grieving, I'm releasing, I'm opening into new, and then you come back to center for a new awakening, for a new beginning of greater intelligence, a new awakening of greater light, a new awakening of greater harmony, who you're moving with in your circle, in your society, with Gaia, with nature, with wildlife, and so on and so on and so on. So the infinity symbol is really key to use as breath experiences, to center yourself in alignment if you're feeling flustered or overwhelmed. Breath is the elixir of life, calling in new centeredness, new codes, new harmony. And it allows you to feel into where you're at in your cycles and honoring every step of the process, of your phase, of your cycle. Allowing yourself to be okay at every moment, wherever you're at. Because that in and of itself is awakening. I'm allowing myself to be grateful and honoring in where I am right now. I just got totally a huge week of release and integration. I'm really happy where I'm at right now. Wow, I've integrated 6 or 7 really deep lessons that I've known have been with me my whole lifetime, and many more. I'm really, really honoring myself. And I'm centered in spirit. I'm centered in my oneness. I'm centered in knowing that I'm serving the greater good. I'm centered in my knowing that I'm loving myself as much as I can in this moment, and I'm honoring all others. And I mean, I've just given so much information and vibrational energies this one episode, and it comes with years and years and years of experience and understanding and visions and memories and dreams and, so much expansiveness that I'm here to share. So again, listen to these offerings over and over again, because there's vibrational stories within them. Your teams will adjust and shift your fields, your vibrations, your DNA, each and every time you go into it. And what I do with my own expansive learning is I draw and write things out, because I'm visual and I'm a channel writer. And so for me, when I'm hearing and I'm getting certain things, or I'm going to my meditations, I have my book with me, and I also channel talk. And so that I'm putting notes down, and I'm writing down the illustrations and the visions, so that I'm understanding how energy moves and flows. That's just me as a crystalline child, and how I perceive and I intake and I receive information. We're multidimensional. So I'm just offering that as a musing, and I've offered in my books that allow yourself to explore the mediums and the potentials you have to understand energy. How you receive energy, how you perceive energy, how you explore energy and express it are all going to be unique for each and every one of us, because we're here, again, as pieces of the grand source puzzle to expand evolution as a human collective in new and different ways. So, channel write, you might get light codes, you might be a light code creator doing light code paintings. I remember when I was in Japan, I had a beautiful client that was, exploring creating paintings and artwork with light language, and the codes that she was receiving in meditations. So we're each here to activate and to add to the whole, add to the web and the weaving that is the love of source, this beautiful, dynamic, beautiful, elegant, flowing experience that is evolution. And align it with the truth of who you are within your soul. And honoring your cycle, honoring the cycles of all others that you're going through. It's a profound weaving that we've all called on those around us, and honor their paths as honored as your path, because it is. And offer them the inspiration and empowerment that they have guides and teams. And it's the most empowering, evolutionary, transformative moment when they truly tune into their guides and they start acting and behaving upon their own unique counsel, their own unique guides. And it also allows you that are moving through these similar experiences, as our families and our coworkers, to step back and not hold yourself responsible to others' paths, because you're absolutely not. We're not meant to. Each and every person is responsible for their energy field, They're responsible for their bodies, they're responsible for their path and their exploration of it. We each come with the toolkit. Our visualizations, our creativity, our ability to tap into source, our ability to live with our higher self as one, our soul self as one. So we each have all of these tools within us for the unique path that we're each here to carve. And that's when we walk into our mastery, for owning our authentic integrity, to stepping back and holding space. You'll get to sense these subtleties, but that's earning and owning and honoring your own mastery as well as all others. I say this, and I'm returning back to center again. They're allowing me to come back to center. And this is a big truth that we're each here to experience and explore, that there is no path that is above or differentiated from another. And we've offered this in many of our radio shows and our teaching, that all life is sacred and all life is valued. So it's really, really key that we drop into and live from our heart space and have compassion and love, kindness, and understanding for each and every path. Because I've been shown and I've experienced that in any moment that the ego allows itself to think that it's any, and this is where we've talked about judgment, the ego is the one that allows that separation behavior and pattern to continue, because it's been for the survival, the flight or fight, and it's been that judgment. If I do this, then I'm going to survive. If I do that, I'm going to survive. If I do that, and then that begins that separative journey. Us versus them, me better than you better than me, and all that kind of stuff, comparison, and all that stuff that we've experienced that we're stepping out of. The oneness factor, the love factor, and compassionate factor allows for all beings to be brought and honored in their highest intent, that is source, because we are. We truly are. And I have pictures with affirmations. I honor you in the Most High. You are as honored and respected as all others, regardless of your behavior, regardless of what you're moving through. It's all honored. The empowerment to that is the mastery. The empowerment of that is love, is compassion, is oneness. And that's what's being mirrored to the holographic perspective. Each and every one of us are unique, we are special, we are diverse, we are honored, we are valued, we are loved. It's all one. And so the more that we return to center and love, and we can even feel sometimes the subtleties that we feel when we've just moved something really profound and we've come to this beautiful, intelligent, and intricate awakening. And we allow ourselves to feel really beautiful and expansive and loving in that moment. It's a fine path of mastery when we honor it in a gracious way, we honor it in a revered way, we honor it with great humility. That is mastery. While also honoring with great reverence and humility the path of all others. And it's practiced. And so those vibrations will be felt. Those vibrations will be felt, and why there's so many offerings out there, because they're all at various levels of vibration and offering. And you will tune into what vibrational offerings feel right for you. And it's all, there's no judgment, there's all a purpose to it all. There is. But the more that we allow ourselves, allowance is so key, because allowance allows you that mastery. If we're resisting or judging or falling into the ego will try and drive our reality. But being that awakened essence of the soul, heart-centered soul, infused, knowing that your soul is guiding you to the synchronicities, the cues, and the symbols that you're seeing in your everyday life, the Akashic healings that are occurring for you, whatever it might be that you're moving through in any moment. Your soul infused. Your soul is living with you. And to honor it in the reverence that it is due, as all others. That allows them the highest capacity for awakening and self-love that is possible, because that's love. Love is open and expansive. Love is order and harmony. And that opens flow for energy, light, and awakening and evolution. Those are the universal truths and laws that are the foundation of all evolutionary spiritual programs. The sacredness and the honor of all life. And it has within us, we have it as our innate essence because we're source, but we need to awaken ourselves in the practice of it, the sacredness of it, that all beings, all systems that we're co-creating, to do it from the foundation of love, to do it from the foundation of reverence, of sacredness, of honor, of humility. Therefore, the all will be served. innately, honestly, simultaneously, synchronistically. And it's a system of universal evolution. It's a natural process. The ego is not driving it and sustaining it and containing it and defining it and boxing it. And there goes the degradation of the evolution. It descends, which is what we've all experienced. But again, all paths are equal and all paths are revered. So allow the cycle, allow the processes, allow the unfoldment to be as beautiful and elegant that it is, because it is. We're each particles finding our way. We're each beautiful essence of Source and children of Source finding our way. We each have unique dynamic paths of exploration, and we're all finding our way. We're allowing ourselves to be brought together, conjoining in the particles of light and love that we are, so that we can co-create as a soul tribe in a new community of light, a new community of higher offerings, so that the all are served in greater, expansive, more creative ways, more fun ways. But that we understand the cycles of our families that we're moving through, and to truly take excitement and joyful play and honor the voices of all others in the experience of how they want to feel themselves honored in the process of these cycles. Anything that they want to be brought forward in these new evolutions, where we're taking all into comparison, into consideration, and into evaluation and reflection. And that's how we co-create in the holographic way as a community, as a society, governments, and all of these new systems that we're co-creating, to be done in a way that's understanding and kind and caring for one another, that's honoring the path of all others. And there will be those experiences that we move through in our Akashic healing that will bring up those deep Akashic, deep human, earthly, experiential fears that we've had ingrained for eons. And to understand that it's a part of the healing process to transmute through love, compassion, forgiveness, and acceptance. So it's beautiful. It's quite an elegant system. It's quite an elegant array of cycles and phases. And it's all for spiritual evolution, for evolution of the all. But to see it from the higher perspective of the holy essence that you are, and why sometimes it feels, when you become attuned with what's going on inside of you, within the all that you are, why some things feel, you'll feel the energy subtleties. Your subtle body gets turned on, the energy fields get turned on, the chakras, the galactic chakras, the chakras in your ears, all that we are as multidimensional beings will begin to show you when something doesn't feel right. And you return to center to realign to your higher integral truth. Because your integrity, your moral compass will continue to ever become narrow. And it will be refined within the frequencies and the vibrations of unconditional love, compassion and kindness and caring for all others, and the reverence and the honor and the sacredness for all life. Those are vibrations, and you'll feel them. And so muse and play with how the cycles and the phases within your own self, within your family, within your community, and attune to your loving, beautiful flow of all that you can allow to live through you. To know that you have all within you to create harmony and balance and healing for yourself, new systems and new cycles for yourself to align with that higher vibration that you choose to live within. And it's a constant ebb and flow of calling in those frequencies of light, calling in those frequencies of happiness and joy and creativity. And feel those cycles, feel into them. Call in that cycle that you're ready. I'm ready for something new. Give me something new that I can learn. What am I here to tap into? And be a part of that co-creative process with your teams, your higher self, and your soul. And those will always be offered in divine timing, what your soul is ready for, what healings you're working on, and release the ego on what you feel or the expectations should come through. We wrote about that in our books. So we've given so much information. We know that it's been a heartfelt and soulful experience. So we thank you all for joining with us in this beautiful movement of love, this beautiful movement of play and co-creativity with our human collective and new systems of light and love. And we thank you so much for joining us and being a part of our soul family. And we wish you love. Connect with your higher self, connect with your teams, and know that you're soulfully and joyfully loved in every moment, that you are supported and divinely cared for and honored in all that you are, and the divine and holy Source Creator lives within you and within all moments. So dance and have fun and celebrate all that you are. We love you dearly. Namaste.